Alright, you already know what's going on. What's good, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. So, before we get into anything like major or anything like that, I kind of want to address the lighting situation real quick. Usually, I do have a little backlight on, and I've got this adjusted, but I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I kind of like the vibe of the light outside today. I opened the windows and I just wanted to let some natural light in, alright? So I just want to see what things look like. So if it does appear a little off, you know, in editing and stuff like that, I'll do my best to fix it up. But I like the vibe of today. You know, it's a nice, for me, Sunday afternoon. So I just kind of want to see how things go with this lighting style. But probably something we won't see too often. Anyway, let's disregard that for now. You've seen the title and you've seen the thumbnail. Today, I would really like to delve more into games that I would love to see on the Switch 2 when we finally get it in 2025. Now, of course, we know very little to nothing about this console other than things that have been leaked to us. And all of those things, for all we know, could absolutely be wrong. We've seen trusted leakers be wrong before. Things could go awry at any point in time. And there's been plenty of times where people have been wrong about the Switch or whatever. So, you know, I'm not really gonna hold my breath about any of this until we actually see what we're getting. I'm more of a believe it when I see it kind of guy anyway. That's always how I've been. However, I am definitely a dreamer. So, at the very least, I would like to, out loud, dream about some of the games that I would love to see on the Switch next year. Specifically, first-party titles from Nintendo. Now, the funny thing about this video is that I actually recorded this exact video a couple of months ago, right? About like 2 months ago now, or something like that. And I waited too long to edit it, and I had to kind of rework everything that I had here, because two of the games that I mentioned on that list are very much real, tangible, and we're going to be seeing them, one of them sooner than the Switch 2, right? Mario and Luigi Brothership is so exciting for me. I've been wanting a Mario and Luigi game forever now. I haven't been able to really, I haven't really indulged in one since Paper Jam, and the remakes for the other games didn't really seem necessary for me because I already had the originals on the DS, and to me, the style looked a lot better than the remakes did for the 3DS, so there's really just never a reason for me to delve into the remakes. And then there is, of course, Metroid Prime 4. We have been waiting for that game to rear its head since its first reveal in 2017, and we're finally getting it in 2025. Can you believe that? That is absolutely insane, right? So, I'm excited. I'm very much looking forward to it, and I cannot wait for those games to finally drop. So, I had to do a little, fix-ups and things like that for my list of games that I would like to see on the Switch 2. So, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and start getting into my little list here. I'm gonna start with the most obvious ones, only because these are the things that we have all been begging for ages, and we're tired of saying them, and I'm sure a lot of people are tired of hearing it. So, let's just go ahead and get the obvious ones out of the way. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess ports. They can look exactly the same. You just update the controls or something. I don't care. There is absolutely no reason as to why some of Zelda's best in the series are not available anymore. Okay, you guys decided it would be the move to put those games on Wii U way too late into its life cycle. Okay, I mean, no, granted, Wind Waker came out pretty early in the Switch or the Wii U's life cycle, but regardless, it's stuck there. And I can't have that. I can't have that. We have seen the magic you guys have done for Mario. We have seen it with all of the RPG series now. 3 different RPG series have come back to life on the Switch with Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, Super Mario RPG, and Mario & Luigi. Absolutely no reason why we cannot see Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, whether it be a collection or separate. I don't care at this point. I am not spending hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to get the Wii U ports. I'm not doing it. I refuse. So, come on, Nintendo. Do what you gotta do, bring them over. I don't care. In the similar vein of ports, you will never hear me shut up about it, but obviously Kid Icarus Uprising HD, or a sequel at this point. I think I'm probably gonna make a separate video on this very specific topic, only because I don't know if I would rather just move on to the next part of the story with Kid Icarus, or if we could just utilize Kid Icarus Uprising HD and just be done with it. right? Because the concepts in of themselves are just wonderful. Just the characterization, the level design, the weapons, just the point system, everything about those games, or that game in particular, is just so much fun, so interesting, and so unique. Something that I would love, love, love to have on the Switch 2. At this point, I've given up hope on it coming for the Switch, but the Switch 2, some real good ports like the Zelda ports and this would be just so grand. Just an insatiable start. I don't think I used that term correctly. Please ignore me. Either way, I want it really bad. I want it so freaking bad, and again, I cannot justify spending hundreds of dollars on Kid Icarus Uprising HD on the 3DS. Unfortunately, you guys will probably hear me say this on the channel a lot. I was a dumb kid. I constantly sold all of my games when I didn't have any money so that I could get the new shiny games that would come out. Sometimes it wasn't worth it, sometimes it was. It is what it is. Point is, I have given up so many games that if I had the chance to go back in time, I would probably sock young me in the mouth first before I ever went ahead and fixed anything. But either way, I need that port so bad, and I really hope to see it on the Switch too. After that, I know that we did just recently get another port for a DK game, but I think it's time for a new DK game. I want to see a new, fresh, just brand new view for a DK game. Recently, like a couple of weeks ago at this point in time, somebody leaked the files or something that there was actually a 3D like open world Donkey Kong game in development, or like an open zone Donkey Kong game, and it was just a hell of a concept, you know? I think that would have been really, really neat, and definitely one of those things where if you didn't care for the 2D Donkey Kong games, the 3D ones could have absolutely gotten your interest, you know what I'm saying? And that's really unfortunate because I feel like DK deserves a lot more love than it gets. It's the entire reason Mario is literally their mascot. Without Donkey Kong, you don't have Mario, and vice versa. So it's crazy to me that DK isn't as utilized as it could be, you know? And nothing wrong with Donkey Kong Country Returns, but another port, a second port of the exact same 3DS game, like, cool, fine, whatever. I think it's time for a new DK game. And I feel like the Switch 2 is definitely the time to really put DK in a little bit of a more of a limelight here. I think DK deserves at least that, don't you agree? So now is where we start reaching a little bit, right? A lot of these other ones, these last couple, are going to sound a little ridiculous in hindsight, but you'll see where I'm coming from. Starting with another Star Fox game. There's absolutely no way that the entirety of the Star Fox IP has gone completely ignored for the Switch's life period. There's no way. It is nobody else's fault but Nintendo's own that Star Fox, what was it, Zero? Whatever the name of that game was called on the Wii U was just not it. Not only was it sold on a basically dead console at launch, it was literally not developed well. Everything that I've ever heard about that game and everything that I've seen about that game makes it hard to justify ever picking it up, because I did absolutely want to pick it up, but something deterred me. And you know, I try not to go by word of mouth when it comes to recommendations for games and stuff like that. I really like to see it for myself, but when it's like not good enough, especially for an IP that I really, you know, want to get into, you know, obviously Star Fox Zero was just not the greatest starting point, and people made that very clear, and that's unfortunate. So I'd like to see a real good, like, developed Star Fox game with love and care put into it. I think it's been long enough. That's another IP that there's just absolutely no way we're just gonna let that just die out. I think Star Fox deserves a lot better. Those characters are very interesting to me. The whole animal concept, the dynamic between all of them, it seems like a lot of fun and something that they could absolutely play around with. So hopefully we can really, you know, we could see them again. Fox, Falco, Pippi, or Peppy, I don't know. I would like to get to know them a little bit better. After that, I think nothing would make me happier than a Zelda spin-off. Namely, a Zelda RPG, right? Now, let's back things up a little bit. Recently, we did just get the announcement for Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, right? And it looks good, it looks great, I'm very excited. It's taking Zelda in a different direction, considering the fact that we're playing as Zelda and working to save Link as opposed to, you know, vice versa, where we always do the exact same thing. Link saves Zelda, yada yada yada. So I am very much looking forward to that, and that's actually coming pretty soon, about a month from this point, and that's awesome and all. However, it's gonna be a little while before we get our next mainline Zelda after this. It's gonna be a very, very long time, probably, because Tears of the Kingdom only released 1 year ago at this point, and I know that that team is already hard at work working on the next big title, but knowing them, we're not gonna see it for another 5 to 6 years. And, you know, I love the Zelda series, but I need at least a little bit more something in between to really, you know, hunker down with, you know? Which is why I was super pleased with Age of Calamity. It doesn't really matter how you feel about that game, they gave us more Zelda to indulge in. They gave us a fun, unique little story within that universe that we all enjoyed so very much to chew on for a little bit while we waited for Tears of the Kingdom, and I appreciate that hella. So, I'm just saying, maybe it doesn't need to be a launch title, but at some time during its life cycle, I would like to see, or during the Switch 2's life cycle per se, I would really like to see a Zelda RPG, an actual spin-off that allows us turn-based combat, or even maybe some action RPG combat with Link and Co. Maybe a completely original style, maybe something in that same universe. I doubt that they're going to use that universe again because they seemed very adamant that they were done with that universe, but, you know, I would love it if they, you know, tossed the IP over to another studio and they gave us a little bit something to, you know, work with. Maybe a studio gives us something unique in their style. I would absolutely love to see that. Fun fact about me, RPGs are my favorite genre. You will hear me say that a million more times. Prepare yourselves. Speaking of RPGs, it's about time for another Fire Emblem game, a real Fire Emblem game, I think. Now, nothing against Engage, you know, I enjoyed it for what it was. I really enjoyed the combat, the music was really good, and the characters were pretty fun. The story definitely wasn't the strongest, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt because it solely served the purpose to be an anniversary title. And, you know, we've seen a lot of better anniversary titles from other franchises and things like that, so, you know, it definitely could have been more than what it was, but for the most part, I enjoyed my time with it. I can definitely see myself revisiting it at some point in the future, probably not as often as I have like 3 houses or anything like that, but regardless, it's time for a new mainline Fire Emblem game. Now, whether that be a remake or a brand new title, I could go for either. I know that a lot of people were very excited about the aspect of them possibly remaking Genealogy of the Holy War. I believe that's what it's called. I've never played that one, right? I started with Awakening like a lot of other people on 3DS, right? But Genealogy of the Holy War, please don't hesitate to correct me if I'm wrong on that, is one of the ones that definitely deserves a remake to a lot of people, and I'm more than down to get a remake of that if it serves, you know, if it's anything like Shadows of Valencia, or yeah, Shadows of Valencia, that's the one, 3DS. I got it. From the ground up remake of that caliber with new mechanics, maybe a couple of new introduced characters, maybe some more modern takes and things like that, and we could see a real solid remake that pretty much is just its own standalone thing as a remake. That would be awesome, that would be great. I would love to see if they can do that, but if they decide to go for a new Fire Emblem, awesome. Great, whatever y'all gotta do, I'm here for it. Next up, Sakurai. Where's Kirby? What's going on, buddy? Now, I know, I get it. We just got a lot of Smash from you for the last couple of years, you know. It's been about, what, 2-3 years since Smash ended at this point with the inclusion of Sora, which is cool, which is dandy, that's fine. And we have been asking you a lot for Kid Icarus Uprising HD, or another Kid Icarus Uprising game in general. Cool, you know, dandy, whatever you're doing with that is whatever you're doing with that. But we know Kirby's not going nowhere. And we did just recently get Kirby Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which, awesome, great, one of my favorite games remade, couldn't be happier, that's awesome. But there's no way you're not cooking something. Sakurai, you're one of the big dogs in Nintendo. We know you're cooking something. Kirby is your son. That is your boy. That's my son. And we know you take good care of him. So we know there's no way in hell there's not a game upcoming for him on the Switch 2. There has to be. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is debatably my favorite Kirby game, if not my second favorite Kirby game, right under Return to Dreamland. It was so well put together, so well crafted, so unique, and so much fun, and the first real step into Kirby's 3D adventures is awesome. It came out beautifully. I'm gonna play that game millions of times for years to come. It was such a beautiful concept, and it was just visualized so perfectly. I love that game so much. You can't really go wrong with a purchase like that. But we know that's not the end of that. We're definitely going to be getting another 3D mainline Kirby game very soon, and I really do feel like we're probably going to be seeing that when the Switch 2 is released. Maybe not on launch. I could probably see something late 2025, if not that, early 2026. But I can see a Kirby game in the very near future. It's been a good minute since Forgotten Land, right? It's been about 2 years, something like that. Almost 3 years now. So, yeah, we know you're cooking something, but we just want to see a little bit more confirmation. We want to see something tangible. We want to see our boy. Kirby, where you at? And lastly, probably the biggest reach of all of the things that I've listed here, and probably something that I'm definitely not going to see, but I will pine for it for the rest of time because the concept in of itself was so awesome and unique and fun. I need another ARMS game. I need an ARMS 2. I'm not kidding. ARMS was such an awesome concept, and it was one of the things that got me excited enough to buy a Switch in the first place. I was looking forward to that, funny enough, even more than Breath of the Wild at the time, right? Because I was still new to Zelda, and I was definitely enjoying my time with previous Zelda games, and Breath of the Wild is still one of the best games just I've ever played, easily, no doubt about that. But the way they showed off the mechanics for ARMS, it called to something in me, dude. I was so just abnormally excited for ARMS, and getting my hands on it, me and my homies at the time, we were playing that nightly. We were going crazy, man, just boxing. I remember being up that first night for the first open beta or open stress test or whatever they called it. It was called something completely different, but I remember being up for all 4 of those nights just going ham, right? Every morning, every night that they had those stress tests, I was in there. I was going to town. And by the time everybody got their hands on the game, I was maiming them, man. They didn't stand a chance because I was going crazy in those open betas. ARMS is so fun. The uniqueness of it is so cool. The character designs are so much fun, and they could have easily continuously added more DLC because a lot of the concepts and characters that they came up with were just genius. It was just so awesome. And I would have loved to see maybe a more dedicated story DLC or something added down the line. I would have loved to see more characters, of course, more stages to utilize and things like that, with more hazards, more unique open areas and things like that. But we never really saw that because, unfortunately, the moment Splatoon 2 came out, literally like a month or 2 later, ARMS was done. It was just, nobody was paying attention to ARMS like that anymore, and it really, really sucked because it really just got overshadowed by, you know, Nintendo's other big mainline IP that was finally getting a sequel on the Switch. Damn, man, that hurt a lot. That really did, because ARMS was just always so much fun to me, and it's very hard to justify or convince anybody to get the game again to play it because it's a dead game. And that really, really, really sucks. But it is what it is. I would just love to see an ARMS 2 with more concepts, more characters, again, pretty much everything that I've already listed, and I would be such a happy camper. Such a happy camper. But I guess that's just one of those things we'll have to play by ear. And I think that just about wraps it up for all of the thoughts that I have on games that I would love to see on the Switch 2. Now, of course, some of these could be launch titles, some of them could be in the midst of its life cycle. I hope they don't come that late. But regardless, I would love to see these games revitalized or, you know, utilized on the Switch at some point. Or Switch 2, preferably. But we'll play it by ear and we'll see what happens. But that's enough out of me. I'm pointing the mic over to you, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below. Do you think that I'm on to something? Can you really see the Switch 2 getting any and all of these games that I've mentioned here? Or am I completely off base? None of these games are going to be there, and we're just going to have to wait another decade or so when they come out with their new console to really see any major changes with any of these IPs. Tell me anything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I am always, always, always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, Yep, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and do just so. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gone. So thanks again, hope you enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor, taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.